Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to our advanced trainings on Thursday with me. Yeah, I'm Petra. If you don't know me yet, I'm kind of an energy geek and energy explorer and experimenter, if I can say that. I love doing that. I love to play with energy in the energetic world. I'm like a kid in a candy store when it comes to energy. And I love to share anything that I've learned in my journey of healing and my journey of life, and I'm always learning. There is no definition of anything that I'm sharing here tonight with you that is just this is how it is. No, I don't believe in that. I truly believe that there's different perceptions of everything, and everything that we are learning and knowing already exists in the quantum field. And Healy, there's nothing new, honestly. That's what I truly believe. And whatever we are inventing, we are literally just stepping in, or whatever is existing in the quantum field. That's why I love playing with this little. Oh, I need to hook it up. This little device that you all have, which is called Healy, and I really love it. It resonates completely with me, my body, and I use it in so many different ways and so many different levels. But tonight, we are going to look at hormone harmony. So hormones, before we dive into the hormones and how to approach the hormone balance in your body, be it you being a man or being a woman, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, we all have hormones. Welcome to the world of hormones. Women probably are more attuned to them. They have been having more experience with them, probably, because we kind of work with hormones, right? Hormones are kind of our cycle in our life. And in this man-driven world, and I mean man in a good, in a, I mean man as a wounded masculine people that push, 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 and there's no pause, right? Because in life, we have cycles. Everything runs in cycles, and there's a cycle for sowing the seeds, there's a cycle for growing, there's a cycle for harvesting, and there's also a cycle of pause. And that happens for men and women. But in this, men, not really men, I think it's more greed and money influenced world where there's, you know, lacking connection to ourselves and others, our hormones can get out of balance really fast because, of course, our cycles and our bodies are not meant to work, 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 work all the time. We need a pause. Yeah, we need a deep breath of exhalation, right? As we inhale, we also need to exhale. And that exhale is kind of mini death in our body. It starts a rejuvenating cycle within us. And so do our bodies. They need that space. So if we don't offer them, our hormones go out of balance. And then I talk to women and my clients, and they go, yeah, but how do I do this? I do this and I do that and I do that, but nothing changes. Well, there's, things that we can, what I like to say, you wipe the dust off the shelf, right? Or you go and clean it deeply. Yeah. So our bodies don't like the superficial approach. They like connection. They like learning about us and we learning about them, and really supporting our bodies where they need it, and really listening in and tuning in. And when it comes to hormones, that's the crucial thing we always forget, is to lean in and tune into the bodies, because the bodies will always tell us what's wrong. And not only wrong, what's actually needed to support us. So before we dive into all the nitty bitty greedy, I would love to know, and I'm just going to share my slide. So, okie dokie, do you see my slides? Thumbs up, see my slides? Perfect. Okay. I would like to, first of all, before we go in, like every single Thursday, please know that Healy is not a medical device that treats or cures or diagnoses or prevents anything, any medical condition, but it is an enormous tool to actually help you grow, help you get in touch with your body, connect with your body, to actually empower you, who you really are, and actually help you shift things within the body faster. But we do not diagnose, we don't treat, we don't prevent any medical diseases. This is not what Healy is about, but it is an amazing tool for you to grow with. Yeah. Okay. I want to know if you had or have challenges with hormones, How do you know your hormones are out of balance? I get it. You go to the doctor, they actually check for your test and everything. That's a great thing. Yeah, always do that. Have a practitioner that actually helps you, that you can trust. But if you tune into your body, if you would ask your body and the symptoms and things like that, do you know when your hormones are out of balance? And that goes for men as well, not just for women. Yeah, so men can have out of balance hormones as well, especially in today's world. And we're going to touch on that one. So I really want to know, how do you know your hormones are out of balance? I'm going to just drink a bit so I don't suffocate in between. Okay. And perimenopause so was interested in hearing about it. Perfect. Yes. Okay. Perimenopausal. This is my opinion. Yeah, I'm not just saying, because there's a lot of words being thrown out there. In my view, perimenopausal does not exist. Yeah. Either you are in your fertility and you have your balanced hormones, or you're in your menopause. Yeah. Perimenopause, in my view, from my knowledge of the body and my experience, and this is solely my experience, was created because of all the hormone disruptors and things that are actually influencing our body. So your body naturally should be in a fertility space, and then naturally your hormones should normally decline, and you literally finish your period. And as women, we should not actually go through hot flushes and itchy eyes and headaches and all of that stuff that comes with what they call perimenopause and menopause. Yeah, so this is actually not normal. Just letting you know, not normal. So something to be aware of in your body. um and when we actually realize and acknowledge that certain things are influencing our body, and that things that we're experiencing are not normal, when we actually start adjusting that in our life and adjusting that in the body and supporting our body, um, we can see how things can change. Yeah. What program you ran for your mom to get back in touch with you? Oh, just not for my mom. I was running it on myself. Yeah, I never run for anyone else. I run for myself. So when I shift the frequency within myself, because that energy was within me. So when I shift the frequency within myself, then the outside environment will reflect that. Yes, because it's a mirror. So I only ran literally the aura, and I choose the highest intention that resonates with me. So the affirmation from the aura, and I pop it into the coaching program, and I actually run both of them for 6 minutes per day. And I do that, and then I check in with myself. This time around, because I was shifting so fast, I was actually scanning every 3 days, and then I was actually vibrating that for 3 days. But normally I do that for a week or a month, depending on what I'm doing. So thrilled. Thank you for your way of going deep. Much appreciated. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my style, going deep. I ran a retreat 2 weeks ago, just before I lost my voice, and we were doing a values retreat. And for some people think, values basic, but the way I do values, it's through the body. And we had women that they work on themselves for a long time already. And we had huge breakthroughs and huge aha moments in life. And one of our friends that was there, she came after the session and she said to me, Petra, I can't believe I've been living all my life not knowing what my core values truly are. And she said, now I understand what all the conflicts of the last year that I had with people were about. I know exactly what they've crossed. And I know exactly why I was in a conflict with them. So understanding our alignment of who we are, and hormones are part of that, because hormones are actually your messengers, and we're going to talk about it. And understanding who you are, you can start seeing the mirrors and the relations of who you are with anyone else or anything around you. And that makes it so simple. Trust me, it makes it so simple, We complicate things, relationships, what somebody said, what didn't say, what should have said. We complicate things so much instead of actually looking at us and understanding the messages of the body, which are our hormones. Okay. Feel anxious, displaced from our surroundings and stress when our, yes, perfect. Signs and symptoms, yeah, feel not grounded, edgy, skin flare-ups. Oh, wow, skin flare-ups. Okay, so that's huge responsive nervous system, yeah. Mood swings, lack of energy, weight issues, yeah. Hair flares, overgrowth, yeah. Aggressive depression, menstrual disturbances, yeah. Mood swings, yay! I love the mood swings, like a roller coaster. Probably not for the husbands. They probably want to get out of the house if you have a lot of mood swings. Okay, yes, all of that. And we think that that's normal, yeah? It's not normal, yeah? And let's see and look at how we can start balancing that and bringing ourselves back to balance, so we can actually get our husbands off the hook so they don't have to run away and run out of the house. And if you have a husband like I do that supports you in either way, you are the luckiest woman alive. Okay, so hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers. And we've talked about the emotions because emotions trigger hormones. So the chemical messengers that have profound effects on your mental, physical, and emotional health, and beyond that, because that influences our systems of the body. For example, they play a major role in controlling your appetite, weight, your mood, also your reproductive system, your brain capacity, your heart rhythm, your stress response. All of that is related to your hormones. Hormones are literally the entire communication system of your body. And what affects hormones in our body? That's a long list, huh? So if we have a sedentary lifestyle, no exercise, no sunshine, no pure air, no water, ocean water is the best, because it actually regenerates your electricity in the body. But if we don't get out much, yeah, sun is important because it actually activates your vitamin D in the body, and that also helps with your nervous system. Western diet, yeah, so a lot of processed foods, no fresh foods, food lacking nutrients, not enough protein, for example. And I always say diet, the closer to nature, the better. Yeah, because that's what your body is used to. Toxins. We looked at toxins with detoxification systems and protocols, and especially with hormones, xenoestrogens. I know that's a long word, but what xenoestrogens are they're literally, I don't know if you've heard of it, but they're hormone disruptors. So this is actually, it's called the xenohormone, which can be natural or can be man-made, that actually imitates estrogen in the body. So why estrogen is such an important hormone in the body, and it influences men as well as women. So estrogen, because we have progesterone. Progesterone is the hormone out of this hormone, every other hormone is made in the body. Yeah, so progesterone is a really important hormone, meaning for men and women. Out of this, your estrogen is, let's just do the basic. Estrogen, adrenaline, cortisol, testosterone, yeah, growth hormone, all of that is actually made out of progesterone. So when we have xenoestrogens that mimic estrogen in our body, it's actually not our estrogen. So it's actually tricking the body of thinking that we made estrogen, but so the body doesn't have to make it. So, you're going to actually drop estrogen levels, your natural estrogen levels, and you're going to have excess estrogen in the body that can influence so many things. Yeah. So there's so many conditions and imbalances in the body that are caused by excess estrogen. And this means excess estrogen of foreign origin, yeah, not our own estrogen. And normally that happens because hormone disruptors actually lower the progesterone, but even if your progesterone is okay, your estrogen will be still really high. So what does that do in the body? Well, it actually tricks your nervous system, and your body thinks that it's in a stress response, and it actually builds inflammation. So, for example, my endometriosis that I had for over 10 years, they say it's a hormonal issue. And my experience is that it's not just hormonal issue. I had hormonal issues because I took the pill. Because when I took the pill, I actually got estrogen that is not mine in the body. And that actually raised the inflammation in the body. Endometriosis, in my view and my experience, is an inflammatory disease. And it's not a disease, it's just a condition. It's a side effect of things that are happening in the body. So anything that has to do with reproductive health, majority of that today is related to stress, which is inflammation. It's related to toxins, which are normally xenoestrogens that are coming from foods. Yeah, so those are your pesticides, herbicides. Yeah, anything that's sprayed, anything that's genetically modified. God forbid you eat that. And you won't believe how many foods you have contain genetically modified foods today, especially the processed foods. Plastics, all the plastics, especially if you pop it into the microwave oven, yeah, you're literally you're killing the food and you're eating the plastic. Household products like skincare, cleaning products, whatever you're cleaning and working with contain huge hormone disruptors. And I needed to clean everything out of my house and out of my life in order to eliminate all those excess xenoestrogens in order for my body to actually start lowering the inflammation. Health and beauty products, yeah, all the makeup, and even some supplements. Yeah, I don't know. There's a form of a B12 supplement. I can pop it into the group. I'm not going to say it out loud here, but there's a form of B12 supplement that is quite common in all the supplements when it's B12 is added, because we don't eat a quality food to actually get enough absorption of enough good quality vitamins and minerals. The B12, the form of B12 that is used normally in supplements, is actually made from cyanide. Cyanide is carcinogenic, and it actually you're eating and you're inflaming your body from within. So it's really important, and that's why I always say good quality food. We have frequency, digital nutrition. We're going to look at that separately, but to actually have the best absorption, gut health is important. We're going to look at gut health in 2 weeks. I'm really excited about that one. I have a really good guest for that. Amazing guest. And if your gut is not good, you can't process toxins. You're not eliminating them. You're actually absorbing them back into the body, and that acts as a xenoestrogen in the body. So all of that is influencing your inflammation, and we're going to look at inflammation this month as well. It's influencing your hormones, because your hormones are messengers and they're going through the body, and based on what's in the blood and in the organs, the hormones will respond to that. And if there's a disruptor, then the communication doesn't flow. It's like playing, how do you call it in English? Is it Chinese whispers? Yeah. So I say something to someone, and that someone said something to the other one, and at the end, something else comes out. Yeah. So that's kind of how it works in the body when you have hormone disruptors. Not enough clean and quality protein in your diet. Yeah. We don't eat enough protein, and we don't eat enough healthy fats. Yeah. Your hormones are created out of fat, out of healthy fat, not seed oils, not canola oil or sunflower oil or whatever, because that's all chemicals. Yeah. Out of healthy fats, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, butter, ghee. Yeah. If you do animal protein like lard and tallow, that's also a good option, but it needs to be clean. No hormones, no vaccines, no anything that actually disrupts. Yeah, so we really need to be aware of that, because we're eating that, it goes into the body. Not enough exercise. Yes, exercise influences your hormones. If you haven't heard, there's multiple research that shows just by activating the muscles, you have a factory in your muscles that creates happy hormones. Happy hormones, yeah, the one that actually makes you happy, yeah, that actually can fight depression. So all of that is in the exercise. Don't overdo it. We've got to look at why. So exercise needs to be balanced, and especially if you have your hormones out of balance, especially for women, it's really important to have moderate exercise and not either lifting weights, and also that maybe once or twice a week, and the rest should be, yin, like relaxing, either walking or yoga, Pilates, something that actually relaxes your nervous system. And exercise actually enhances the delivery of nutrients and hormone signals. So your blood flows moves through the body, hormones move through the body with the flow of lymph. Toxins get out, because then the hormones receptors and the hormone communication gets better. It also reduces insulin levels and increases insulin sensitivity. We want that, because sugar is not the primary source of energy in the body, it's fat. So if there's sugar always running in your body, so if you eat a piece of bread that is gluten, yeah, gluten, any carbohydrate will turn into sugar in your body. Your liver will turn it into sugar. So first of all, carbohydrate, it's not a freely available energy for your body to use. So your liver will have to work in order to actually metabolize it and turn it into sugar so it can use it. So if you're eating too much of that, your liver will store that in fat. But you also become insulin resistant, because there's too much sugar running through your body and your body doesn't know what to do with it, because your primary source of energy in the body is fat. So having exercise and moving that sugar out of the body will actually lower the resistance of insulin in your body, meaning your hormones will start coming back to balance. You also need to understand that if you eat a piece of bread, yeah, any carbohydrate, it doesn't matter, but piece of bread, the sugar from that bread will be in your system for 48 hours. Yeah. So if you eat another piece of bread next day, another 48 hours will add on to that. So before you're going to start using fat for fuel, you will need 48 hours at least or more to actually get that sugar out of the body. And sugar is the most damaging thing you can do for your hormones, because it completely disrupts your brain connection to your glands through the body that actually produce other hormones that you need, either satiety hormone, which is connected to your weight, either reproductive hormones or whatever hormones that you want to balance. Yeah. And of course, exercise produces happy hormones, like great. Gut health. More than 80% of serotonin, which is a happy hormone, is produced in the gut. So if our microbiome in the gut is like a communication pathway for hormones. So whatever is going on, the bacteria in the gut are actually sending messages to the body that hormones are receiving, and hormones are then passing that down through the body, through the organs, to make it simple. Yeah. And it's really important if the microbiome in the body, for example, people tell me, yeah, I have candida, I need to kill candida. Candida is a bacteria that probably the majority of you have heard of, but candida is a bacteria that can really disrupt your hormones, because it lives in the body either way. Yeah, we all have it, but the problem is when it's overgrown. And we're going to look at the gut in 2 weeks, but just to give you a bit of an insight, candida only overgrows in the body, in the gut, when there is too much toxins, because candida is the only bacteria in your body that can digest toxins. So when we look at something as a symptom of the body, I always say, ask yourself why. So if you have candida overgrowth, or if your hormones are out of balance, or which hormones are out of balance, ask yourself why. Why is that present? Why is candida present? Why wasn't it before? What changed? So really becoming a detective to understand what's going on in the body, because the body will always respond in order to actually protect you. And gut health is the most important thing of your health overall. If your gut is not working, nothing else will work. Because Candida actually sends out a signal in through the gut and actually releases a chemical that actually triggers certain hormones that can disrupt your nervous system. It can actually cause anxious feelings in the body. So it's really important, and it actually your microbiome. That's a link that actually was proven. So if you have parasites, bacteria in the gut, which we all do, they send signals to the brain. So you can have memories and thoughts that are coming from the bacteria and the parasites. So this is not new. This is something that's been discovered, and I've experienced it, and my partner as well, firsthand. Yeah. So I'm just letting you know that everything's connected, and there's a reason why certain things are there. So sugar, yeah, sugar means sweetness, carbohydrates, grains, gluten, fruit, all of that contains sugar. So if your nervous system is out of balance, if your weight is out of balance, you need to cut all the sugar out in order for the body to come back into ketosis, which is literally starting to burn fat for its own fuel. But you need protein, because without protein and fat, your nervous system will drop. It will just collapse. So we really need to be aware of that. Stress. We looked at stress before, but stress is something that we are all a part of. So managing stress and how to manage stress is an important thing. And we also need to understand that chronic stress actually impairs the feedback mechanism that help return your hormonal system to normal. So if you're in constant state of stress and your body and nervous system can't actually calm down and come back into the rest and digest state, your hormones will be out of balance all the time, and you'll be producing more cortisol, which is your stress hormone, together with adrenaline. But normally adrenaline lasts only for a few hours, and then cortisol takes over. And then after a while of producing so much cortisol, your body won't be able to produce cortisol anymore. So you will actually have cortisol resistance, meaning that when the stress actually comes, you won't actually be able to respond. And that means it actually suppresses the stress function and immune function in your body. So this is where autoimmune diseases come out. Yeah. So everything's connected. Yeah. It's really important to understand that. Not enough healthy fats. So you can do either MCT oil, which is medium chain triglycerides, which are just short, like medium chain fatty acids. You can find it in coconut oil, for example. You can buy MCT oils, avocados. If you do avocado oil, please do it cold press. Macadamia nuts, almonds, hazelnut. Just make sure that you activate the nuts, because otherwise you have phytic acid in there. Fatty fish, make sure you have wild caught fish, not farmed, because those are hormones. Olive oil, coconut oil, organic butter, ghee. So those are actually what connects the hormones, because we have fatty, so cells have the fatty walls, and the hormones, when they connect through the fat. Yeah. So our hormones are built through the fat and through essential amino acids, which are actually proteins. So the best form of protein is essential amino acids, which your body can bioavailably, use. And then low quality sleep. Yes. If you do everything else and you don't sleep, you have done nothing. Yeah. Because during sleep and during all the stages of sleep, so REM sleep and deep sleep and all of that, our body processes all the stresses that we receive, all the signals that we receive throughout the day in our waking life. So if we don't actually go deep into our sleep, our body can't release those stresses. So that will stay in the body stuck, and that energy won't move. So you need to actually do extra work in order to move that energy out, because that frequency is constantly agitating your nervous system, and it's pushing your hormones out of balance. And we're going to look at how. So these are all the things that are affecting your hormones. I know it's a lot, but this is what we need to look at if your hormones are out of balance, we need to look at all of these and address all of these in order to actually bring your body back to balance. So even if you're going to use your frequency on Healy, if you're not going to address the foundational elements of your life, it's like, spitting in the ocean. Yeah, it's not going to change. Like you really need to look at things holistically, supporting yourself on a foundational level, adding frequency in order to come back to balance. That's where we're at, because currently in the world, especially with regards to unbalanced hormones, everyone is out of balance, including men. Yeah. And why men? Let's tap on that topic. Women are using hormonal contraceptive. We go into the toilet and that goes into the water. We drink that water if you don't filter it. Yeah. So men drink that water. And in that water, you have hormones. So those hormones are actually influencing men's hormones, and they're lowering testosterone. So we as humans are changing, and that's something that's really something to think about. Yeah. And it's really important to understand how hormones are influencing our life. And why I'm saying this, because there's a research that's been done for women that were on a contraceptive pill, and they have chosen a completely different partner based on the contraceptive pill because the hormones were different than when they were off the contraceptive pill. So, and the partners were more feminine when they were on the contraceptive pill, um, in comparison to when they were off the contraceptive pill. So it's really important to understand that hormones are not only changing how we feel and how our body works, but how we are choosing people around us, how we are seeing people, who we are surrounding ourselves with. Because that is the frequency, the energy, right? The feminine and masculine energy. We are looking for the oppositions, because when we live on a 3D world and when the oppositions come, we become balanced, right? Because too much of the same, it's like magnets. On one side they click together, on the other side they repel. So we need to understand we're looking for balance. We complementing each other on a frequency level, on a hormonal level. And when hormones come into play, humans smell actually hormones on the other person. So we choose according to how we feel and how our hormones are acting within the body, and vice versa. So we really need to understand how this is influencing the world and within us and outside of us. And okay, let's look at what's the most important thing in hormones. So the essential axis we call HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. There's an additional axis, which is the targeting organs axis, which includes thyroid and some other organs we're not going to go deeply into. But why is this so important? This is actually our body stress response. We looked at stress already, but why am I choosing HPA axis here with hormones? Is because this axis activates or deactivates your reproductive hormones, your digestive system, your immune response, your weight hormones. All of it is influenced by the HPA axis. So looking at the HPA, meaning hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal, there's thyroid in there as well. But this is the communication pathway. So when we're looking at the hypothalamus, it's right in the brain, and underneath the hypothalamus, we have the pituitary. So this is how they look like. Adrenal glands are above your kidneys. So when you have your kidneys at the back of your body, on the top of the kidneys, there's like little small part of the kidneys. They're like fatty glands. They're called adrenal glands. And within that adrenal glands, we call adrenal cortex, which actually connects. It's a kind of communication system, but doesn't matter. This is the axis that influences everything in the body. So I'm going to make it really simple. Yeah. So your hypothalamus, which is in your head, or in the center. Hypothalamus, it's like how do you call it? He's like a conductor. Yeah. So he's the one that actually receives the messages from the environment and actually conveys the messages to the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland is like the CEO. She's the manager, yeah, and manages everything within the body. So she actually creates hormones. She sends the information down to other glands to actually say, this is what you need to do. This is the situation. This is how we're responding, yeah. Adrenal glands are actually just the worker, yeah. So the adrenal glands are actually literally working to produce the hormones in order to create a fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, yeah. Guys, that's so important, because people always think, and I always talk about adrenal glands as well, but people think that hormone balance starts with adrenal glands or it starts with thyroid, yeah. That is just a consequence. So your hormone balance and your stress response start in your brain, because this is the perception of how you see the world around you. And why I'm saying this is because we have programs for HPA axis, which is endocrine system. And we also have a program that we use, and it's called coaching program, yeah. Coaching program tells you the perception of how you see the world, the mental patterns, because that is influencing how you are receiving messages from the outside and how you are interpreting those messages. Because hormone balance is nothing else but the response of your perception within the body. So how do you see the environment, how you respond to the environment, how your body reacts. That's what it is. So the more you actually work on yourself, the more you work on your perception of the world, how you see yourself, how you see others, and more the view of how you see the world and how you see yourself align, the more your nervous system is calm. Yeah, the more you're going to calm down the nervous system, the safer you're going to feel in the body, the more happy you're going to be. So just letting you know, this has been researched as well. But people tend to go with the symptoms. Yeah, so what are the symptoms of hormone imbalances? Bloating, constipation, can be diarrhea if you're too stressed. Weight gain or weight loss, both of them can be. Insulin resistance, chronic fatigue, estrogen dominance, mood swings, anxiety, depression, low libido, brain fog, headaches, adrenal fatigue, hot flushes, night sweats, insomnia, osteoporosis, thinning, brittle hair, yeah? And I can go on. Yeah, but these are the major ones. And just letting you know, hot sweats and night sweats and hot flushes that do not just happen when you're in menopause. Yeah, we have teenage girls that have that today. Why? Because the hormones are out of balance, because the food is not the right one, the nutrients are not what they need. There's so many things that are influencing their bodies. There's so many women that have no period today, and they tell them they are in menopause. No, they're just induced menopause because their body is out of balance. So all of that can be supported. Yes, hormones take a while. This is not, so if you want to take a look at just the nervous system, looking at the foundations that you need to create in your life first, and then balancing the nervous system, it takes at least 3 months, if you are not exposing yourself to any stress, to actually start seeing the changes. Hormone axis and stress axis is the most delicate and the most challenging one to actually balance and heal. So it's really important to understand that you will need to have really strong boundaries. You will need to understand that you will need to say no to certain things. You will need to understand what's really a priority for you, what's causing you stress, getting to know yourself, really how your body responds to certain things. But your hypothalamus, you know, when people go and start weight loss and all of that, they go, yeah, full on exercise. If your nervous system is fried and your HPA axis is not working properly, your hypothalamus, if you're actually full on exercise, especially cardio, like running and all of that, you will stress your body even more. And I used to be a weight loss coach, and I had women coming, oh, but I'm exercise every day, I'm running for an hour. And I'm like, Please don't. As a woman, you need to be resting, because without rest, your body will hold on to weight because it thinks you're in crisis and it needs food for crisis. So it's going to hold on to food. Food is fat. Yeah. So having that in mind, first and foremost, it's important to rest. Sleep, rest, regenerate, really deeply rest. So the more you're going to do that, the more you're going to support your body. I'm going to show you the programs to do that. The more you're going to see the results. So hypothalamus is what actually keeps your body in balanced state with regards to body temperature, your hunger, your mood, sleep, and wake cycle. So this is your circadian rhythm, and your weight. So if you want to actually start balancing your weight, of course, you need to take a look at what you're eating and what's going on in your body and what's going on in your environment. But it's not only to actually run weight programs, it's also to run endocrine system programs, yeah, and your brain programs like stress acute, things like that. Pituitary gland is what makes it makes several essential hormones and regulates other endocrine glands. So she's the one sending all the hormones out. So if you work on the hypothalamus will start sending signals to pituitary, and pituitary will start sending signals through the body. And adrenal glands, of course, if you're really fatigued, then of course you'll have to work on adrenal glands and really support yourself and add magnesium and silica and all of that stuff to actually help your body. But in essence, it's about cortisol release. It's about how you respond to the environment. And I know this is easier said than done, but it really makes sense. Our perception is everything. How we see the world is how we experience ourselves within ourselves. So something to think about when you're working with that. And coaching program is a great way to start to look at your patterns of how you're looking at the world. But there's also really good programs. So let's look at that. So I've literally put hormones and systems that are really important in here with programs. And I want to also show you something else at the end. So the things that are really important to work with are your HPA axis. The programs that I love to use here are your Hormonal Harmony, which is your Bioenergetic Harmony 1, Classic Energetic and Classic Physical, which are in the Power of 3. We're going to have the Power of 3 protocol next week. I'm so excited. Then we have Brain Harmony, which is in the digital nutrition mixtures. Not the brain harmony in the learning, but the digital nutrition mixtures actually give you the right hormones and the right minerals and vitamins for your body to absorb. So it actually works on the DNA to actually have better absorption. And then pineal gland harmony, which works both on the hypothalamus as well as on a pituitary gland. It's really important. This is in bioenergetic vitalization. So this is on a professional edition. I am in love with bioenergetic vitalization. I really want to know any of you that are using bioenergetic vitalization regularly on weekly basis or daily basis. I want to know if you're actually using it and if you actually know how to use it, because I've lately heard everyday perfect. I've heard lately from a lot of people that they don't even know how to use it, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is one of my best list of programs. Bioenergetic vitalization, we're going to have a special session for that, but bioenergetic vitalization works on a RMNA and DNA communication. So it changes how your DNA is expressed and how the hormones connect and how the communication happens in the body. So it's really, really, really good. It's 4 times a week. Perfect. Love it. Okay, so nervous system. So nervous system, these are nervous system support programs. We had that before, but these are actually that work on the whole axis as well as on your kidneys, your adrenals, your vagus nerve. So there's I forgot to put that one in. So in Healy, there's a Macon program, which is vagus nerve program, which is phenomenal if you have unbalanced hormones, which really work on your nervous system. But we looked at those programs. I'm not going to go. So brain, we had the brain ones as well. So any brain programs will also work on the hypothalamus as well as the connections within the lobes, which actually balances the neurotransmitters, which is actually good for the hypothalamus because it gets different signals. Another one that's actually really good is soul cycle. So acceptance, self-acceptance, confidence, things like that in the soul cycle are really good to balance your perception, how you see the world. So that's actually working on your hypothalamus as well. Because it's a high HPA axis is a stress axis, so immune system will be impaired. So whenever your HPA axis is out of balance, your immune system will be low. Yeah, so you will really actually need to support your immune system. So literally running defense, and defense program has been shown even on there was videos these years back that showed after one application of defense program, it boosted up the white blood cells and, you know, inflammation lowered and all of that. So it activates your immune response, which is really good. So defense is my favorite program to actually support any defense, whatever's happening in the body. I like classical physical and classical energetic. Those are really good for power 3. And defense support is good too. Bioinformation is amazing for immune system as well as the nervous system, because it actually helps with the information transfers for the communication, yeah, and how the communication clearly is transferred, yeah. Exhaustion system, which is the exhaustion in digital nutrition mixtures, actually helps the absorption of the right minerals and nutrients for the adrenals and for the HPA axis for the entire nervous system, which is actually really good. So that one's actually really good to run. So with digital nutrition, just make sure you run them after a meal, because then you have a better absorption in your body. And then, of course, deep cycles. And then a reproductive system. So then depending on what you're working with, yeah, so you can look at that. But what I really wanted to show you, let me just share my screen. So the way I look at things, I use the Heal Advisor search. Let me just turn on my program. It turned off, of course it did. Why wouldn't it? I love when it does that. Okay. Here. No, I'm just gonna stop sharing this one, and I'm gonna share my screen so I can show you. Oh, come on, work with me. Okay, so this is my phone, and I'm just gonna go in to show you. This is the Heal Advisor search, yeah? So what I like to do is, if I'm searching for certain things like hormones, right? What I like to do in a search, for example, if I would say, I want to balance hormones for women. So you have, you know, women in the fertility age, and you have women like, you know, in menopause, mature women. So you can actually just go hormones women, and it's going to come up with the list of programs. Yeah. So you can go, so if you want to work on your endocrine system, which is your nervous system, you can choose the Harmony Endocrine System 1, or you can also choose for women 4. So you will see this one is for mature women. So this is meant for women that have hormones out of balance, so it can bring them back to balance. And it will give you a list of programs that are specifically related to the hormones, especially in the menopause, in the winter season for a woman. If you do women hormones, this is how I search women, and you want to do the endocrine system, you choose the top one, because always it comes up with the top one that's the most related. And you go through and you'll see that it actually gives you classical energetic, which is really important for the nervous system. Friendly flora, again, so it's the gut, but it's from power 3, so it actually balances the gut, because those are the signals. Brain harmony, which works on the hypothalamus and pituitary, and homeostasis and exhaustion, which works on the nervous system. So you'll see that all these programs are working on your nervous system or HPA axis, yeah? So it's important to understand. You can search for that. If you have hormones for men, for example, if your testosterone is low, or if you feel like, you know, you have any issues, yeah, you can actually just go, or if you actually are working, if you're a couple and if you're working on pregnancy, you know, men and women, because, you know, sperm is actually gives data, yeah, through DNA to the women's egg. So if that transfer of data is actually not um, optimal, yeah, you need to work on a sperm in order to actually have good pregnancy. It's both that need to work. So you can actually go fertility. Ugh, I can't even see anymore. Fertility men. It's going to come up with 3. So you can go pregnancy. That doesn't mean, you know, a man going to get pregnant, but you can actually go. These are all programs to actually help with that. Or I like the vitality. So it's fertility men, vitality 10. Potency is really, really good for men. Petra is the energy. We're going to look at the power of 3. Classical energetic, also the nervous system. Libido conflict balance is really good. Stress systematic, passion kidney harmonies, hormone harmonies, exhaustion, yeah, and youth, bioenergetic vitalization. So youth is actually activating the DNA, regenerating the DNA. So it's really important when we want to transfer information, DNA to DNA. Yeah, so you can search for these things, or you can go. It's going to come up for women 4, or you can have balance, balance 6. It's going to give you aging, youth. See how it's actually regenerating the cell. So this is actually helping you to regeneration. So 1, 2, 3 regeneration that actually activates the cells and the energy and the DNA. So those are all the programs you can search for. You don't have to know all the programs that come up, you know, that I've listed. Just search for things in the search app, the Heal Advisor search app. That's the easiest way for you to actually do the programs. And then you can just add them to IMF schedule and just do them once or twice a day if you wish to, whatever works for you. But that's kind of how I search for things and see the programs that I need and how I need them. So that is about hormones. I will post, and I know I owe you a lot of things from 2 weeks ago. So I'll go and post everything in hopefully this week. I have posted a recording for the Q&A session, so that's in the group, finally. But if these are the basics, please don't feel like we need to understand that when we're looking at the HPA axis and we're looking at the stress response in the body, when your body is under stress, your thyroid will be automatically influenced. Yeah, because thyroid hormones will lower because your stress will want to supply muscles and other areas of your body in order to flee, fight, whatever you need to. Yeah. So if it's being prolonged stress, then of course it's going to affect the adrenals. Of course it's going to affect the thyroid. Of course it's going to affect the reproductive system. Of course it's going to affect the gut. So all of that can be affected. Just have in mind that it's not as complicated. You don't need to just target every single thing. The more you actually go into the root cause of the situation in the body, the more you balance the root situation, the more everything else will fall into place. Of course, if there's thyroid issues, of course run thyroid programs because you're supporting that. But if your body's response and nervous system is not okay, and if you're not looking at the foundations, then nothing else will change. Yeah. Okay, now that's it because I'm over already. Any questions? I see the things are coming up, but if there's any questions, I will go over today because I know we kind of went over in the beginning. But if there's any questions, raise your hand if you need to. Otherwise, I'll just swing through the chat. A PowerPoint. Normally, I don't share the PowerPoint, but I would normally do the screenshot of the program so you can get that into the group. Prostate, not necessarily with testosterone, just Sometimes with testosterone. Um, yes, so if you're running prostate program, of course it will help with testosterone. Women also need testosterone, yeah. So sometimes you will, scan. Well, I scan. You will do the analysis, the resonance analysis, and prostate will come up for you. That also can mean that you are low on testosterone, or you might need a different frequency that's in there that actually influences the activation of the reproductive system. Yeah, that doesn't mean necessarily testosterone, because there's multiple frequencies in there. Yeah, and you don't actually know which frequency out of that program your body actually needs, because the Healy doesn't tell you that. Yeah, and even if it tells you, you would need to have a list of million frequencies in order to understand which one's which. Yeah, which is too complicated for me. It's not simple enough for me. But yes, generally, of course, it will help testosterone, but it is also reproduction, the activation of the reproductive system. Recordings info posted. So I always have them in, recordings are always in our Facebook group, or they go out end of the month in our newsletter. If you're not in our Facebook group yet, which is interesting, but I will definitely share the link, so you have that. The recordings will always be in the guide section of the group. And oh, of course, my keyboard has just disconnected itself. I can do that. Why? Okay. So this is the link to the Facebook group. Please answer the questions and please accept the rules, because otherwise it's not going to accept you. Okay, what else? Any other questions on the hormones? What problems do you suggest for a pregnant woman? Okay, so officially, pregnant women, Healy does not advise, and it is one of the contraindications, that pregnant women should not use Healy during pregnancy, because of course there's not any studies to tell how it's going to influence you. So if you're using Healy, that it's on your own accord, it's your own personal responsibility of what you're doing. So Healy, especially, and if you are using it for your own sake, and I'm not saying that this is how you should do it, Healy does not advise that. But if you are using it, please do not use the cords, yeah, because it's too intense on the body, and you have a growing being in there. So magnetic fields are much better if you decide to use that on yourself. Meg Healy, I'm not saying that this is official advice. Healy says no. My opinion, for me, this is what I would do, and I'm not saying that you need to do that at all. But Meg Healy, I wouldn't even think that that would affect me as if I would be pregnant, because it is atmospheric and it's a space related. But if I would use coil, for myself, I would normally use that really like less than I would do that if I wouldn't be pregnant. Yeah. So we need to be really careful with how much frequency we put into our body. And as I said, Healy officially says that Healy is not to be used during pregnancy, because there's not enough studies either way. Okay, anything else? Thank you, so fascinating. Love it. Okay, thanks. Take care of your health. Oh, thank you. Doing my best, getting there. Can, can the wristbands or coil be used for people having stents? I don't even know what stents are. I'm sorry. That eludes me. Stents. Can you tell me what that is? I'm glad you liked it. How often should we run the aura scan a week? So you have the whole aura training session, entire session on how much we've done and went into depth in our Facebook group. It should be at the beginning, right on the bottom, because it's been a while since we've done it. And you also have a cheat sheet in there, so you can take a look at how to read and interpret the aura scan. But as I said before, the recommendation of Healy is to do a scan and then vibrate it every day for 4 weeks. Yeah. I say 4 to 5 weeks, but you can go and take a look at the entire recording and you can see all the information there. Okay, if there's any questions on hormones or anything else, you have an option to do that in our Facebook group. We will be running a Q&A session. I've canceled it last night because there was too much of everything when I was coming back. But I will be answering questions in June. So you're more than welcome to post it underneath the Q&A posts. So I'll take all of those questions, pop them into our Q&A and answer. If you're joining live, you can ask questions there, but I will prepare the questions, the answers to the questions that will be posted in the Facebook group ahead of time. And if we have enough time, we'll answer the physical questions on the spot. But otherwise, if you have any questions around hormones or any specific questions, you can always ask them in the Facebook group as well. But next week, we are diving into our 9-week Power of 3 protocol. I'm really excited. I actually have official protocol from the corporate finally made, and I am going to release it to you next week. It's going to be really fun. I've been working on this one for a long time because I know it hasn't been easy to find all the information out there, especially on the Power 3 and bioenergetic vitalization and digital nutrition. So I'm really working with the corporate to actually get everything together for you, so you can actually start doing this stuff, because Power 3 is amazing. Bioenergetic vitalization is amazing. And if you don't have a professional edition, please get yourself one. I don't know, like I can't, like my partner has the gold, and when we switch and he uses mine for, vibrating, I'm like, how do you live with this? Like, I can't do this. Like, this is too simple for me. Like, I need to kind of maneuver from one program to another. So I really admire you who has, everyone that has the gold. I get it. Gold cycles are amazing, but for me, just not enough. Like, I need combinations of things. So professional is my favorite. I went from the beginning, and I only recommend professional to anyone that can actually get it, because it's amazing. And there's so much new stuff coming out. Is everybody using the Cosmic Growth program? Are you running the Cosmic Growth? I love it. I've done the survey, one of the first ones. Oh my freaking God, I'm serious. It's amazing. It's a full-on expansion, honestly. So use that really, because it's amazing. But yeah, that's it. Oh my goodness. While I was talking, everybody was writing. When an area is selected, a lot of programs are shown, so which to run? I don't understand, Vikash. What do you mean by then? When an area is selected, a lot of programs are shown, so which to run? You need to tell me a bit more on that. For a vibrate at what frequency? Or what do you mean, what frequency? There's just specific frequencies in the list, and you vibrate for a specific time. After the list of programs generated from hormones suggested, how long do we run the programs? Okay. So, good question. Thank you. So the hormones, as I said, when you are working with something on a physical body, make sure you focus on it. Like, I would do a 3-month protocol. Yeah. So if you have a list of programs that you choose, for example, like I showed you in the Heal Advisor search, and you choose endocrine harmony, whatever. Yeah. And you have a list of programs, I would run it at least for a month. And then I would check in what's going on in the body, if you feel any shifts. If you don't, run it for another month. Yeah. If you start feeling something, if you don't, that's okay. Run it for another month. So I would work with certain things for at least 3 months, especially when it comes to endocrine system, your nervous system, your HPA axis, because before you're going to see the results in hormones, it's going to take a while. Yeah. So be patient, be consistent, and make sure that you're running the list of programs. But if you intuitively feel that you need to shift the list of programs, then shift it. Of course, there's nothing set in stone. But the more consistency you have, the more you work with something, and the more you apply the frequencies again and again and again and again, the more your body will come back to balance. So if you're expecting to run a program and you're going to just have all the shifts and results, and you've been depleting yourself for years and your hormones were out of balance for years, I'm sorry, it's not going to work that way, but it does work. Yeah. So the more you're consistent, the more you're patient, the more you persist, the more you're going to see the results. Um, Blue app for pregnant. Well, I would use the Blue app. For me, this is my opinion. Yeah, because it's literally, distant. So I would use that. Yeah, definitely, and that will be probably the safest option. Um, Usha, definitely. Um, oh, definitely barefoot. Yes, if you can ground yourself while applying any programs. I've been talking about this for ages. We apply frequency, so we add charge. When we add charge, the body needs to discharge what's not related to it anymore. So what it's moving out. So ocean, barefoot, grass, sand, water, whatever you can to discharge. If you can't do it, then buy yourself a grounding sheet. Yeah. Whatever you can to discharge the energy is the best thing you can do. Yeah. Because otherwise, you can't integrate the frequencies properly, especially if you're applying it every single day. What's good for someone with postmenopausal phase? Which cycle should they take, especially to reduce abdominal obesity? Okay, with menopause, your estrogen is declining, your progesterone is really low. Yeah. So when there is weight around the belly, is normally when we have too much estrogen and not enough progesterone. And that's where things come like hot flushes or vaginal dryness or headaches or things like that. So all of that can actually come through. And that is not because that's normal, but because your body is out of balance. And it's been out of balance for a while. And now that you're in menopause, your body's just showing it, hey, look, this is what's going on. Yeah. So so anything that happens with too much estrogen or not enough estrogen and out of balance hormones, start with the nervous system. So HPA axis, work on the nervous system, and adjust everything else in your environment. Yeah, toxic sleep, stress, everything else. And the more you're going to run the programs and observe what's happening in the body, and the more you're going to adjust your food and everything else, the more things will shift. Yeah. And of course, progesterone is important, especially in menopause. You need to have a natural progesterone. With the hormones, I also use, because my progesterone has been out of balance since I started my pill way back. So I add on herbs as well in order to actually help my progesterone. So wild yam cream, this is what I use with frequency, and that helps me. But you need to do whatever works for you. Yeah, but definitely you have the list of programs for menopause for women for. So if you search in the Heal Advisor search app, you will find those programs, and that you just keep doing that. When you select, say, Hormonal Harmony, then a list of program comes up. Oh, you mean in the search, in the Healy Advisor search? So do we have to run all programs? Well, yeah. So if you have a list of programs, you just add it into the IMF schedule. There's like a pink sentence at the top, add to IMF schedule. You click on that and it will go into the calendar and it will remind you every day to run a different program. But though that list of programs for Hormone Harmony is exactly what it's recommended to balance the hormones. Yeah. So yes, you run that for 3 months if you need to. How do you know if we need to work on brain, nervous system, immune system? Good question. Well, you start with nervous system because that's the root cause of everything. Yeah. But if you have brain fog, then you will have to work with the brain. Yeah. So if you have digestive issues, then you will have to look at the gut. If you have, if you're getting sick all the time, then your immune system is suppressed. So think of that. Think of how your body is responding. So it's not about looking it with your head. It's about listening with your body. So what is your body saying to you? What is your body telling you? What are the symptoms of the body? Yeah, where are the issues happening? If it's acne coming out or on the skin, you probably need to look at the gut and the toxins, yeah, especially the liver and the gut connection. We're going to talk about more about the gut and how to support yourself. You're going to love it. Okay. Feel current when men in my family feel current when me and my family members touch anything or each other. What does this mean and what to do? But that's normal. Current runs. It's like um, if you touch, I don't know if you heard of the story, but if you touch an electric fence, you're going to feel the electricity. But if I feel the electricity in touching the electric fence, and if I touch someone else, that person's going to feel the electricity and I won't, because the current flows through the body. Yeah, because we're electrical beings. So if another person touches that person and another person that touches that person, the last person will feel the current. So that's why I'm saying when you are wearing Healy, especially on cables around kids, you will transfer the information, the current, to that person, even if they're not wearing the Healy. So current flows. So even if you're just wearing a Healy, you will still influence people around you. If you're wearing a coil, will still influence people you hug. Yeah. So information and current travels. So if that's fine, because the current's going through your body, they're just receiving electricity. It's you are affected the most. Yeah. So it's really important to just be mindful, especially around small kids. If you're wearing, Heelys and coils, that you are not exposing them to the Healy all the time. Yeah. So because their bodies are little, so they can't handle as much frequency as our larger bodies. So that's the only thing that I would be wary of. Um, yes, so I've uploaded the link for the Q&A on the 3rd of April today. Yeah, so it's up on today because I was uploading it yesterday on YouTube and it took me a while, like an hour and a half. So it's up today. The recording is in the comments of the post. It's in the guide section in the group. Constipation, anything with gastrointestinal issues, right? I would definitely do deep cycle H, digest all, yeah, and then afterwards clean all. And then you will need to work with your gut. But we're going to look at the gut in 2 weeks, so we're going to address that for sure. 5 months, oh my goodness. Then do some somatic exercises to move it out. You could also drink salt water with lemon. So, for example, a liter of water filtered with a teaspoon of salt. If you can get a Celtic salt or pickling salt, Celtic, it's great because it's minerals. And then 2 tablespoons. So 1 tablespoon of lime juice and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, which will actually give them energy. And it's really good for the liver to detox. So if he can drink at least 2 liters of that per day, that will be ideal because that actually helps to loosen the stool and get things out. And do some exercises to move things around. Otherwise, I would run digest all for sure, and gastrointestinal harmony, and exercise. Start moving so the lymph and the toxins can start moving, and maybe go on more liquid foods, so it's not adding on into the digestive system, helping with that. But I would say if that's the case, something to look at with liver, the stomach, digestive health. Oh, hello. So those are the things that I would look at. Which program Blue Apps helps mitigating nausea in pregnant women? I You can't specify in Blue App what actually to send. You just scan all Healy programs and see what comes up, and then actually run whatever is the most important. Or you can run Meridian programs. So you can scan Meridian programs and see what comes up to actually help. So nausea with pregnant women can either be connected with liver, yeah, can be connected with stomach, can be connected with the gut. It can also be connected with estrogen and progesterone levels, yeah, in the body. So it can be hormonal. So there's so many different ways, things that can happen in the body and why that is coming up. It could also mean not enough protein or not enough fat. So there's multiple issues or situations of why that would happen. Woman for mature women, yeah, only for those who have already stopped menstruating. Not necessarily, yeah. So mature women also means that you might not have enough progesterone. It also might be that your ovulation is not really as it needs to be, right? So your hormones are a bit out of balance. Like for me, when my cycle was out of balance, mature women would be coming up on a scan for me because I didn't have enough progesterone. It was too much estrogen, and the balance was out. So the Healy wanted to help me and balance the balance of hormones in the body to actually make me, just make my cycle balanced. So not necessarily, yeah. So that if it's for mature women, that doesn't mean that you're going to lose cycle if you're still on the cycle. No, it's just going to balance your hormones back to normal. Your body will only receive the frequencies that it needs. So if the program is 60 minutes and for mature women, and your body only needs a few of those frequencies, because Healy will always check with your body, the program will end in 30 minutes, for example. So you're not going to receive the things that you don't need anyway. For alcohol addiction, addiction, I don't know, but any alcohol consumption, there's a alcohol program in digital nutrition, liver, and then stop drinking alcohol. That would be an option. But otherwise, otherwise brain programs, so memory learning, and also working on your emotions and chakras, energy, perception of the world, nervous system, how you're dealing with, because that's also trauma. The time of writing, which one of the clients, and oh, I don't know about that. So that can be nervous system related, can be so many different things. I can't tell you what therapy is required. I don't answer those questions because I'm not a doctor. At 4 times a week, aspects of self or relation to okay. Okay, that's it. I'll give you a bit more today because I went on a rant, but I missed last week. So that's a bit it. If you have any questions on hormones, please ask them in the group. I will answer in there. I'm slowly coming back into the rhythm and into the group. We're going to have the Q&A in June. We are preparing certain things, so be patient with me. Hopefully, because I'm alone, my team is currently on holiday, so I'm currently alone with everything, but getting there slowly. So be patient with me. Next week, we have the power of 3. I'm so excited. So we'll be seeing you next Thursday. Have fun. Please enjoy, rest, good vibes to you all. Use your Healy, please, 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 yeah, for yourself. And also sending you a lot of love and hugs. And I'll be seeing you next Thursday. Thanks for joining me tonight. See ya.